What's up, guys? So yesterday I was streaming, just doing my regular runs and all that. And then someone, which I forgot your name, I'm sorry, but someone in the chat said if I would ever do a tier list for like the sets. And honestly, that is kind of a brilliant idea. So that's exactly what I just did this morning. I made an entire tier maker, which I will put in the description, by the way, if you're interested in making your own tier lists. Where I just put every single set, and then we're just gonna rank them. Now, of course, on the tier maker itself, you can rank for whatever criteria you want. You can rank by fun, by difficulty, like for a job, etc. In my case, I will be ranking them by fun levels. So simply how much fun I have doing these sets. With any job really, like because I think the fun levels, at least in my case, doesn't really become different depending on the job, or at least it's not a massive difference. So that's what I will be ranking them for. Though keep in mind, since I score, my feeling on the sets might be very different from you if you only ever do like regular runs. Like I have in mind, for example, the lower floors in PotD are quite boring if you're not scoring, but then if you're scoring, then they become much more different. And there's gonna be a lot of floors like that. So I'm just gonna be ranking them one by one. I'm gonna do the order of Avalon High, and then Eureka, and then Palace. And I will, I'll give. I know the sets by heart, right? But I'll give like a very slight refresher before each one of which set it is, which monsters it has, what is the boss. And yes, that's another thing. I consider at first splitting the bosses from the set, but then when I thought about it, it's really just like it's a one package, right? Like the set comes with the boss, so like I wouldn't really want to split them because you're doing it all in one sitting anyway. Like it's not like you could do like the set and then take a break and come back for the boss. It's all part of one package, right? So for this reason, I'm like evaluating both the set and the boss in the same little picture, right? So anyway, I think I'm about ready to start. So the tier list I made, the tiers I made, very simple, extremely fun for the most fun sets, very fun under that, somewhat fun under that. Then I put indifferent, which is like, indifferent is like technically the average, but it's a little, it's not right in the middle, but you know what I mean. Indifferent would be a set where I'm not excited to do it, but I also don't like, it's not gonna give me nightmares to do it. And then below that is somewhat annoying, and then at the very bottom is very annoying. And I'm sure we can fit things in every single one of these categories, so don't worry about that. All right, so let's just start this. So we are starting with Avalon High. 110. So 110 Avalon High is very simple. It's the one it's the first set, of course. It has no monsters worth of mention. And the thing with Avalon High, the 51st floors, is they became ultra nerfed after EO came out. When the stat squish happened, it ruined the balance of these sets. So how do I feel about 110 when I'm scoring? It is really boring because there's no challenge. Like it's really no challenge even if you're scoring. You'll make it to the boss with, I don't know, like probably 5 minutes or more of time you have to kill, and so you have to farm respawns. Respawns is another thing. Respawns are really annoying in my opinion. Monsters pose no threat. It's very easy, which is like a downside, but it's also, I mind it less if it's really easy right at the beginning, because at least it's, it's starting off slow and then increasing in difficulty a bit. So, I mean, if it was going to be really easy, I would rather it be at the beginning than the end. The boss of this set is a joke. None of its mechanics hurt. You can face tank everything. So, and yes, one last thing about this set, you start at level 60. So you don't have your, a lot of jobs don't have their kit yet at this point. Like they're missing major parts of their kit. And in fact, some jobs don't even have the major part of their kit at level 70, but most jobs just are missing like a lot of things at level 60. So this makes it also a little boring / annoying in my opinion. But even with all that, I would say I feel kind of indifferent about Evan 110. I don't dread it, but I definitely don't enjoy it. Like most of the time, how it's gonna go for this set is I'll go through it, then I'll get to floor 8 where I will probably have like 10 minutes of response to farm, and then I'll just like take G pose while I'm waiting because there's nothing else to do. Kind of indifferent. No, it doesn't excite me. Also, it doesn't really pisses me off that much. Yes. So if you've never seen how I do my tier list, by the way, I rank everything. And then at the very end, I do one last checkup, right? I'll go over each category and make sure it's all in order. So the things might get bumped or bumped up or bumped down. All right, second set, everyone high, 1120. Honestly, it's pretty similar to 110 in difficulty because, like I said, the stat squish made it very easy. These sets used to be pretty challenging, by the way, for scoring 1 to 50, but it's very not challenging anymore. So 1120 doesn't have much of note. There's a guaranteed bedroom on floor 15, which is like okay. I mean, it's fun to just do a massive pull in bedrooms. The monsters themselves, there's actually pretty annoying monsters on that set, and it's not even because they're difficult. Like they still die in 2 attacks, but it's because if you're doing AoE pulls, which you are because you're scoring, well, because I'm scoring. Then the monsters, I'm thinking of the, I don't even remember what they're called, like the Diplos, right? They're like little lizards that cast a gaze followed by an AoE on themselves, but they spam these skills even if you're nowhere near them. So what's going to happen often is you're going to do an AoE pull, but these guys are going to be casting so much that they'll lag behind. And in fact, if you keep running away, they'll unaggro from you because they're casting so much, right? That is annoying. Outside of these guys, there's a couple of well, there's one enraged monster, but like things die so fast that's not really like relevant. Things don't really hurt. Also, one thing about 120 that is for both sets is that the trap placements are annoying. There's a lot of traps on the walls, but to offset that, it's the monsters are not they're not very hard, so unless you have got a massive pull going on, it's usually not too bad with a trap. And the boss of this set is a butterfly that does nothing, does a gaze into a cone, like nothing really to say. I don't even know if they hurt if you get hit. I think the gaze confuses you, and then you run in the edges, and then you might die, but it's really like no big deal. So honestly, even though this set is pretty similar to 110, I'd say I find it somewhat annoying, and I'd say the main reason is the lizard guys, like I said, like because it's so easy that you just want to do AoE pulls and be done with it. It has the same issues as 110, where you're gonna be farming respawns for a while. And yeah, sure, the bedroom on 15 is like it's okay, it's a little fun, but the AoE pulls being so ass because of the lizard definitely kills my enjoyment a little bit of this set. So I'll put in somewhat annoying. I think that's fair. So 2130, this is when the floors become different. Like it's a different look to the floor, so different trap placements. All the way to 40. I'd say these are actually more annoying. I find the 2140 layout more annoying than 120 for traps. So that's definitely a downside. Now 2130 is also the HP floors, right? It's the floors you spam for potsherds. So I've seen a lot of these floors, and you've probably seen a lot of these floors too. Monsters themselves are not that annoying. There's one monster that's kind of annoying. It's the UT. Blue guy that like sucks you in, pulls you in. But like I say, they're annoying. They're not really annoying. They're kind of fun to manage because they do their move about 6 seconds or so when you pull them, and then they'll do it every 30 seconds or so. But you can sure cast or arms length it. You can also get yourself stuck behind walls to prevent it. It adds a little bit of spice. Unfortunately, it's the same issue as the 2 sets before. Nothing does damage to you unless you've got like a really massive pull going on. So, but at least it's something you have to watch out for. Outside of these guys, there's not much that you have to care about. There's like just a bunch of telegraphs. There's a few guys that do gaze attacks. There's the guys with the bells that they can do a surprising amount of damage with, like, we're only talking with massive pulls there. There's the samurais that you have to kill fast because they are building up an enrage called a midare, right? One thing I think that really kills my enjoyment of this set too, and that's very scoring specific, is the way most of the sets work is there's 2 to 3 monsters in each room. But this set specifically, once you make it to 26, floor 26, 27, 28, and 29 have 3 to 4 monsters in each room instead, and also have a higher chance to be a big room. So there's like a lot of RNG in the later bit of this set, because then if you get a smaller floor, you lose a lot more kills, because then you would have gotten 3 or 4 for each room. And also, if you don't get a big room, it's a massive, like you might be looking at 25 less kills easily. So I don't like the RNG that's like the bunch of RNG there is in this set. I find it very annoying. The boss, the boss is a joke. Nothing does damage. Like, you can easily tank like 4 clouds at the same time, probably even on the DPS without steal, and you wouldn't die. It has a very weird move that takes like 15 seconds to cast, and then it doesn't even one-shot you. It's kind of a mess. I honestly find this set somewhat annoying too. I'm honestly very tempted to put in very annoying. Like, this is close. This is a close one. But like, I would say 2130, I find it almost as annoying as 1120. It just doesn't have much redeeming features in it. 3140 is also the annoying set with traps all around. And I'd say 2140 is also has the issue that the monsters, they don't hurt too much yet, but like they start to hurt a little more. So it makes it more likely that if you were going to hit something like another trap, you would actually die. A good thing about 3140 though is there's no more response. So there's respawns from 1 to 30, which is annoying, but there's no more respawns in 3140, which is a huge bonus. There's a lot of monsters that have mechanics you have to watch out for. There's quite a lot of enrage. There's some that enrage after a certain time. There's some that enrage when they've lost a certain amount of health. So that's something you gotta watch out for. There's monsters that have like GG mechanics. The gaze patrols, right? For example, they have a gaze, and if you look at it, you get auto trap. Like, you get the auto trap effect, which probably kills you if you're in an AoE pool. There's some very weird birds that like remove your buffs if you get hit. Boss of this set is also boring, but there's like a little bit of optimization you can do, which is fun because he has a pushback mechanic. So if you have like any kind of dash or any kind of shield or well, these, right, you can like prevent the pushback and get a little bit of uptime. You can also kite it around the arena to like make it so it takes more time to do the pushback again. So I mean, even though the boss is very easy, that is like at least something to do. So with all that in mind, I'd say what really like brings this set down is the trap placement is also like horrible. And then the monsters having like some mechanics you have to watch out for, plus the traps, usually makes it so you can't, like, you want to pull the whole floor, but then you can't really do that, because then you've got like, I don't know, let's say 6 monsters on you. Then you reach like a room, but you don't want to go in that room, because then you know if you hit a trap on the wall, you're probably gonna die. And then at this point, you're 2 hours into the run, so it's less fun to die to a trap, right? Like, if you die to a trap on floor 6, it's kind of whatever, but if you die to a trap on floor 37, it's a lot more annoying. So for all these reasons, it's definitely like, I wouldn't really, I say this set is annoying quite often when I'm doing it on stream, but I think it's not that bad. And I'd say it's carried by the fact that there's no more respawns. If there were respawns, easy, somewhat annoying. But because there's no respawns, I think I would put it in indifferent. I wouldn't put it in fun though, because the traps are too annoying. So I'll just leave it there for now. So 4150, this is the last set where the monsters are ultra nerfed from the set squish in EO. Sorry, not EO, in Endwalker. This is also the first set where traps, you can finally like move without the fear of traps. Because at this point, from 41 to all the way to the end, we know where the wall traps are. They're very easy to recognize. So at this point, it's pretty safe to be running through rooms, even if you have multiple monsters on you. So this set is still easy, but it happens sometimes that I have to like really hurry up on this set. Like it's not really. It can happen that I get on the last floor and I'm like, oh my god, I have 2 minutes to do this. So there's a little bit of challenge. It's not like a big challenge, but there's some. There's some monsters with notable mechanics, but since you tend to one-shot, well, not one-shot, but since you tend to like kill most of your monsters in like 5 seconds, it doesn't come up that often. It's mostly just a thing that you have to watch out for if you're doing AoE pulls. There's the Sekibans, right? Doing sorry, Sekibans do like 3 line AoEs and they do like a small enrage. It doesn't kill you. Used to kill you, but it doesn't kill you anymore. You can interrupt it. You can also LOS or outrange it. There's also the worms, the patrols that do an enrage that will probably kill you if you let it go off because it stuns you. And then there's some guys that do a move that sucks you in, but you cannot arm's length or sure cast it. I always dislike it when there's a move that you can't like, where it pulls you in, but you can't prevent it, and also you can't stun the monsters to prevent it, right? Like there's no way to prevent it. I'm not a fan of these kind of moves. Luckily, it's only a patrol. Well, it's annoying that it's a patrol, but it's only like that monster is only on a few floors. Plus, the rest of the monsters are not like that threatening, so it's not like a big deal. It's still a little annoying. The boss itself has some mechanics. It has a mechanic that you must respect, or you're very likely to die. So that's nice. That's like almost the first boss that has something like that. There's a little bit of fun to have with uptime too on the boss, especially if you're playing a tank. You can also be playing a DPS and you can like greed a little longer to get more damage. That's nice. Also, something fun with this set is it's the set right before when it starts being really difficult. So like you have to be a little more mindful of your commander usage there, which can sometimes put you in like interesting situations. Honestly, I like this set. I think like it's a shame it's a little bit too nerfed, but I still think it's somewhat fun. I'd say this is the first set in FFXIV where I have a good time, where it's not like just going through the motions. So I think it's fair to put it there. Something that I did not mention for FFXIV 150 is you're really not going to be using traps outside of lurings. Like there's no reason to step on a landmine, because you just don't really like need to for time, right? Like if you're low on time, like the time it would take you to do a landmine is probably longer than the time it would take you to just kill the monsters, so there's really no point. So the only trap you care about in these 5 sets is the luring, basically. So 5160, man, is a hard one. It's a hard one. 5160 is when things start getting real. It's the set that has a lot of like robotic monsters, like the Nagas patrolling, all the little robots that put voles and dots on you. It has the Ratchies, that are like robots that shoot you. It has robots that draw you in. It has plenty of monsters. You probably know which set it is, because this is usually the first set that kicks people's ass when they're doing FFXIV. This set, when you're scoring, is a nightmare, but like, I don't mean it in the sense that it's not fun. I just mean like it's really difficult. One of the most difficult sets, in my opinion. Because this is a first set. All right. Another thing about 1 to 50, you don't really make decisions from 1 to 50 relating to like your scoring run. Like you'll make decisions like when is the best time to use that commander, but you're not going to be like, should I full kill this set or should I do this set in 30 minutes? Because from 1 to 50, you will always kill everything and you will always do it in 30 minutes. 5160 is a decision set, and these are actually rare for story runs. You have to decide if you're going to do the set in 30 minutes or 1 hour, and then this will have a massive impact on your commander usage, which then can have like repercussions all the way to the end, right? So it's nice to have a decision. It's nice. Also, gameplay-wise, this is very difficult. You can't, like, because you can't really AoE pull the whole thing. It's too much damage and too many annoying monsters. And talking of annoying monsters, there's, I think, monsters that are just very unfun to deal with on this set. Specifically, there's little bits called Conjurees that have an enrage after 55 seconds or so. Very annoying to keep track of. There's also monsters that like they don't go near you, which is annoying in AoE pulls. Monsters that shoot you out of combat and do massive damage. Monsters that well are range, right? Like I said, so they when you're doing a pull, they just keep attacking you nonstop. Monsters that suck you in. Kind of annoying monsters to deal with, considering the damage is already so high, so you're already like pretty busy dealing with it. What usually ends up happening because of that is you're just like burning through your commanders like crazy. So it's hard, man, to rank this set, because this set is super annoying. But like it's annoying almost in a good way. Like it's annoying because it's really hard. So like in a weird way, I don't look forward to this set too much. Oh, also the boss of this set is, I would say, the first boss that is like somewhat fun. Like this, the thing with MRI bosses is they're very big HP sponges. This is the first boss that has some difficulty, but doesn't have like super inflated HP. Like it has a lot of HP, but at least for a scoring run, most of the time you're going to be using a lot of commanders against this guy, so it doesn't feel that bad. It has some mechanics to watch out for. Like you can get caught off guard easily. So anyway, so with all this, it's kind of hard to rank this. Like I wouldn't call this very annoying. I don't think it's very annoying. It kind of is, but like not in an unfun way. I also wouldn't really say it's somewhat annoying. I wouldn't say I'm indifferent to it too. Like it makes me feel things. It's really hard. I wouldn't say it's very fun. Like I don't zone into it on a high looking forward to this set. I kind of dread it, but like in a masochist way, right? Like I almost feel like it's somewhat fun. It's kind of fun to push your limit so much. It's fun to have a decision to make. It's somewhat fun. I'll keep it there for now and I'll look at it later, but I think that's fair. Now 6170 is it was when we get a new well, it's like almost a new layout, not exactly, but kind of close. It's like the same layout but a different color. This is a very interesting set when you're scoring as well. This is another decision set. You're going to decide if you're going to full kill the set or if you're going to kill less to save more bombs. So decisions are always nice. This is a set that has the first monsters that really like hurt a lot, like the Onryos, like the poison guys, like the Doshiris that do like a donut that one shots you, like the HoHs, well, the HoHs, but like the ones that do a big tank buster. This has a lot of hard hitting stuff. You really feel it on DPS, but it also doesn't make it boring on tank, because all it means for tank is you can do AoE pulls. Lots of decisions to do on this set. I would say this is also, you can use traps on 5160. You can definitely use landmines, but it's pretty chaotic because you're trying to speedrun. This 6170 is probably the first set where you can actually take your time with traps, right? You can actually set up like massive landmine plays, and basically that's it. That's what I mean. You can still step on lurings, but it's getting a little tricky at this point because monsters like hurt, right? So if you fight 3 monsters, it can be very dangerous. Boss of this set is complete trash. The only thing that's redeeming about the boss, it's the Cerberus. It's the big wolf, right? The only redeeming thing about the boss is that there's like a small amount of optimization to do when it does the puddle, because you can be fairly greedy with the puddle and you can go into it very late. You can also shield it. Everything else about this boss is ass. It takes so long to do, and it happens to be the boss right before the really difficult sets. So like you don't really want to use a lot of commanders for it, which makes the boss like really long. This boss really brings this set down. Because other than the boss, I think this is a fun set. Like, things are hurting, but not in unless except the Unreal, which is kind of unfair. But it's also kind of fun to have an unfair monster that just kicks your ass so super hard. There's a lot of potential to do like AoE pulls and optimizations in landmines and stuff like that. Pet trees are quite complex to set up on this set too. There's a lot of monsters that really don't like being AoE pulled. There's also like easy monsters like trickle through that, what you can fight easily, and it's always nice to have an easy monster to fight because it gives you time to think while you're doing something else, right? So with all that in mind, I think this is a fun set. I would say, if it were not for the boss, I would honestly be tempted to put this in very fun, and I'm still tempted to put this in very fun. It's close, like. Because I look at that, I definitely enjoy 6170 more than 5160. It's just a shame the boss is so bad. So you know what? I'll put it in very fun. I think it's a very fun set. I'd say when I'm doing even on high, I think this is probably one of the sets I look forward the most. Even though it's annoying in a way, but it's also kind of fun because I feel like if you're scoring, 6170 is probably the set that it is the biggest difference between a good score run and like a bad score run. Like this, there can be a massive difference in that set depending on like how you approach it. So 7180, also known as the first set in real runs where you start like be mindful of your times and all that. So off the bat, first very fun thing about this set is landmines. Because the rate of landmines is very high on 71, 72, 73. So you're very tempted to do landmines. Now, the downside to that is there's a shit ton of annoying monsters. Well, not a shit ton. There's like some annoying monsters on these floors. So like you can be dealt some RNG that makes it so that your landmines are very annoying to execute. Monsters themselves, by the way, this is a set that has I don't even know how to describe it. It's the first hard set. It's one you should be familiar with. The one with the tiger patrols, the Noyagis, which are like deers, the wolves that really kick your ass. And then once you get to the later bit of the set, it starts having really tricky monsters like the griffin, the yak, etc. And the lion. And yes, I think that this set is interesting because the first bit, like the first 5 floors, are not that hard. Then it starts being really hard from 76. Like there's like a very obvious line between like the early part and the later part. I think it's a fun set. Scoring, like I said, you want to do big landmines. If you're just trying to clear normally your landmines, you can still do a 5 or 6 monster landmine no matter what kind of lot you have on the floor. It's only for scoring where you're trying to do like 15 plus monsters where it can be kind of quite tricky. I wouldn't say it's unfun though. I have a good time with this set. The later bit of this set is also pretty fun because there's a lot of monsters that you need steel for. Well, there's a lot of monsters that you think you need steel for, but then as you keep getting better and better, you realize you can fight them without steel. For example, Griffin. Griffin used to be something I would steal all the time against, and nowadays I don't even steal for it that often. Lion is another steel required monster that you can do without steel, but it's quite tricky. Same with the yak. Lots of optimizations for the monsters as well. So for example, the Griffin, you can, when you pull the Griffin, it does an AoE right targeted on you. But then if you hide behind a wall as you pull it, it's going to walk up to you, so you can get a sum up time. The yak, you can LOS its pull, its join effect, so that you don't get slowed. The Yeti, you can like LOS its huge circle instead of stunning or sleeping. Now, there's a lot of optimizations like that. Always nice to see. Boss of this set is trash again, and really trash. It's the Fenrir, the wolf. which unfortunately has a safe spot. So most of the time you can just face tank it, and there's nothing to do except dodge one cone every minute. Very boring. The boss gets redeemed a little bit if you do like a no steal fight on DPS. It's quite more fun if you actually have to kite around and watch out for your health, but I still think it's not a very enjoyable boss. But honestly, yeah, very fun. I think even with the boss sucking so much, I think it's a very fun set. I look forward to 7180. Even probably more than 6170. I'd say this, yeah, I think, now that I think about it, I think I'd look forward to this one a little more. I don't know if I would put it in extremely fun, though. I'll just keep them the same tier for now. Like, they're pretty close, and maybe I'll bump it up or bump this one down later. I'll see. 8190. This is the big boy set. This set. Oh yeah, also another thing for scoring. You don't really make decisions that much, trying from 71 to 80. Like, you don't make big decisions. You make small decisions, but like, you're not gonna decide to full kill the set at this point, right? Like, you're just trying to make it through. And then the only thing you're really gonna decide is how much you want to be greedy with your commander usage. 8190 is probably the set that plays the most similar to a regular run when you're scoring, because this set you really don't want to be wasting your resource on it. It's too important to keep them on the next set, so you're going to get the full reveals for points. But then the actual set, you're going to play it to like quite similar to a real run. It's a fun set. I'd say it's a fun set. I have a good time on 81 to 90. There's like, I mean, there's a lot of tricky monsters. This is the set that has, when you zone into it, it has like guerrillas patrolling, it has monkeys, it has a few easy monsters you can pick off. And then as you keep getting higher, it starts getting like very nasty things like the Shinzei Patrol, the Manticore Patrol. And then it has the Ankos and the Ryujin that kick your ass. And then lots of things that like kill you almost instantly. Very dangerous set. It's fun though. I mean, difficulty is fun. Unfortunately, like I said, for scoring, this set is a little annoying because I'd say this is a set where RNG feels like there's RNG through the whole thing, but this is a set where RNG feels almost like the worst to me. Because if you find like 3 Petries on this set and you find 0, like it's such a massive difference, because then you carry these into the next set, right? It has massive implications. The boss of this set is Onra, which is okay. Onra's okay. Surprisingly, it doesn't hurt that much. And the mechanics are like static, so you can do them like consistently every time. But at least like there's something to do, right? You're just not standing there. So I enjoy that. There's also small optimizations to do on Onra. Especially if you're playing melee jobs. There's like quite a lot you can try to do to raise your DPS. Though unfortunately there's an issue with the meteor, where the meteor is like has big variance in when it falls down. So even though you can optimize on melee, you can't really optimize as much as you would think, because you can't risk staying close to the boss for too long. Because you don't know if the meteor is falling in 1 second or 10 seconds. Like, there's such a big gap. I have a good time on this set. I have a good time. It's hard, man, to say like it's a kind of thing that's like, it's so hard that it's really fun, right? So even though I kind of said it sucks for scoring, I think it sucks for scoring, it's just fun because it's so hard. Like, I just have so many good memories of getting blown up on this set by like a Manticore one shot, or like so many things can go wrong on that set. It's just fun. Like, tempted to put it on extremely fun too. I think this is a great set, man. Yeah, it's hard to say. You know what? I'll put it in extremely fun. It's so like, it's really hard, but it's fair, right? That's how I feel like about this set. It's very hard, but it's fair. I don't really die on this set and then I blame the game, right? Like I feel like it's always your fault if you die, and you die. It's really funny how fast you die on this set. Like you turn a corner and then there's a manticore in front of you, which does like so little noise when it's moving for some reason. You get blown up instantly. Freaking monkeys are like a nightmare to fight. Also, like this is where your commander uses it. Like time is an issue on this set forever and ever. So like time is not really an issue on the 7180 once you've done this set so much, but time is always an issue on 8190. So lots of decision making you're making with your commander usage and all that. Yeah, I think it's extremely fun. Now 91 to 100. This set's weird, man. It's way this set, if you just look at the monsters and you compare them to 8190, it's way harder. Monsters on this are so hard to fight. They just kill you like instantly, almost all of them. But also I think the thing that's like the main thing about 91 to 100 is your how well you do on this set depends a lot on how well you did on 8190. Like these sets are super related, because the worse if you suffer on 8190, you will have a terrible 91 to 100 unless you're very lucky. But if you have a good time on 8190, then you get like kind of like a free 91 to 100 almost. Like if you zone into this and you have 5 floor wipes, like it's not free, but it's almost a victory lap. Monsters on this set are like the endgame monsters, like lots of new Pippos, Jackies, which are like demons, like a million things that kill you instantly with their tank busters. They have also like a fair amount of mechanics, like there's the Jimbas that do like meteors, there's the Tenmas that do like circly whiz and liney whiz, there's like Kyozos that shoot and do like defensive things. Also, lots of monsters that you need still for. Like 81 to 90, some monsters you can get away without using a steel. There's some that need steel, but some you can get away. 91 to 100, it's the pool of monsters you can kill without steel starts to be very limited on DPS jobs. Also, the thing, it's a bit like 2130. This set has one issue for scoring. It's super RNG dependent. It's out of your control. Because again, this is a set where there's 3 to 4 monsters in each room. So the difference between a smaller floor and a bigger floor is a massive point difference. And it also has a very high big room rate for 97, 98. And the difference between getting a big room and not getting a big room is a lot of points, and it's completely out of your control. You have no control over that. That is definitely annoying. I honestly don't enjoy this set as much as you would think. Like, it's the endgame set. It's very hard, but it's almost like too hard. It's almost too hard, and I feel it's too closely, like, I feel like this set, it's just so closely related to 8190 that, like, I almost don't even see it as its own set. Like, it's either a victory lap or suffering. It's almost never, like, in between. And I feel like the RNG element on this set is also it's too big. There's a decision you can make on this while scoring, technically. You can decide to speedrun this set. But from my own experience, it's annoying because you need at least 7 floor wipes to speedrun it, in my own experience. And of course, you can't start with 7 floor wipe. So if you decide to speedrun this set, you have to start the first floors as a speedrun. And then you have to get lucky and get 1 more floor wipe. I don't enjoy this very much. I wouldn't dare to say it's as bad as 110, but I think it's there. I think it fits there. Like, 5160, 91 to 100, they kind of scratch the same part of my brain. Yeah, like, they're somewhat fun, but like, I don't go crazy over them. I would much rather do 71, 61, or 81 than 91. I think that's fair. So if we go over like FFXIV real quick again, it's mostly average, right? Like, there's a lot of things in the middle. There's nothing that's very annoying. Surprisingly, I thought I would put something in very annoying for FFXIV, but I guess not. I guess there's nothing I truly hate about Level Hide. Like, there's some annoying sets, but there's nothing that I dread. So we'll keep it like that for now. Okay, Eureka. Well, talking of very annoying, I think Eureka might have some very annoying sets. So Eureka is very different if you score and if you don't score, because if you don't score, it's kind of a breeze to get through it. If you score, there's a lot of bullshit in your way, because like suddenly the auto attack damage becomes a worry again. It matters again, so it can make it quite tricky to get through some sets. So let's start at 110. 110 is the worst set that has ever been created for scoring, probably even for regular runs as well. There's so many problems with 110. So 110, if you've never been into EO, it's honestly, it's similar to 5160. Like, it feels like you're playing through a bad 5160. Monsters have mechanics. Monsters have a small amount of mechanics. They have telegraphs. Most telegraphs will one-shot you or almost. There's also a lot of like, there's some telegraphs that don't show. They don't appear until it's already too late to run out of it, like the grenade. Now, that is annoying for a scoring run, because the way this set works is you want to do it in 30 minutes. Like, you want to full kill this set and do it in 30 minutes, because it's the first set. So you want to like go hard on it. But you start this set with 0 commanders of everything. So what do you think happened? Well, you need to be lucky. So if you don't find a strength or a steel like quickly, then you kind of need to reset the set, right? So it's super RNG loaded. Not to mention the monsters are so tanky on this set. They're honestly as tanky as the monsters on, yeah, I'd say they're as tanky as the monsters on 6170. Like, it's crazy. Doing an AoE pull on this set, they can take easily 2 minutes. From like the moment you start doing damage to the moment they die, can easily take 2 minutes. So like the result of that is you need to AoE pull every floor, but the monsters are annoying to AoE pulls. They have like slows that last 20 seconds. They have telegraphs that don't show up. They have enrage mechanics. They spam telegraphs. Like, there's so much that's annoying. There's also monsters that do range attacks only. They never come close. So then you gotta like kite around them. Tons of RNG with your commanders. You're probably gonna be using your commanders the second you find them. Boss is a huge HP sponge. So much that if you don't find a demi-clone, you probably are not even going to be able to do this in 30 minutes. And the worst part is demi-clones only start dropping from floor 7. So you can only find a clone on floor 7, 8, 9. And if you don't, well, you better hope you're playing a really strong job, because otherwise, if you're playing something like a healer or a tank, boss is probably like 5 or 6 minutes with strength, with full strength uptime. It's a miserable set. I hate this set. It deserves to be like in even a worse set than this. I think it's terrible. Like, I guess the only upside is landmines are ultra valuable. Like, you can use landmines every single floor for an entire EO, in fact. But this set is so bad because you just started. You don't have commanders. You're also not max level, so you're missing like core parts of your kit. But like, because it's RNG, like, yeah, it's nice that you can do landmines, sorry. But then you can't, like, you don't have sights. Like, you have to be lucky and find your sights. So it's a terrible set, 110. Boss is terrible, monsters are terrible. No one likes this set. If you like this set, you are the one of many, but everyone I've talked to hates this set. I don't understand why it has not been nerfed yet. So, enough complaining about 110. Now let's complain about 1120. 1120 is less annoying than 110 because if you survive and you got through 110, you kill every monster and you did it in 30 minutes, then your commanders are usually okay-ish to do 1120. I've had some runs where it wasn't true. I've had some runs where there was no in hell I had the luck to do this set. It happens less often though. Monsters are less annoying on this set as well. In fact, I could not even list you the monsters because basically all of them do telegraphs. Like, that's it. Now, I think there's one guy that does like a tail swipe behind it that's fairly fast if you're behind him, but it's really like it's never even caught me off guard, so doesn't really matter. The boss of this set is a little more interesting. It has like you can get hit by it. It doesn't do much damage. You can get hit there. You can get like treat a little bit. It's a little less tanky than the boss on 110, thank God. And at this point, you're much more likely to have a demi-clone to do it, because when you get to this boss, then you've had 13 floors to get a possible demi-clone. So usually you have one, and usually you'll use one, because you still want to do this set in 30 minutes and full kill it. I wouldn't say it's a very fun set, though, because another thing about Eureka is it's the same as ML High. You have respawns to keep track of from 1 to 30. And I'm surprised I did not even mention that. Respawns are terrible for 110, because if an AoE pull takes you 2 minutes, that means there's 2 respawns that are going to spawn. And then if you get a respawn that happens right as you're done with the AoE pull, well, you're just wasting another 40 seconds to kill that monster. This is not as big of an issue for 1120, but it's still annoying that you have to keep track of the respawns. For all these reasons, I would say it's not very annoying. It's somewhat annoying. I think it's pretty annoying. Like I don't like this set. I never look forward to doing 1120 ever. Another thing with you EO that's really ass is you're gonna be chugging potions for 130. So like if if you have a you can't really fail 130 in the MLI, but like if you for some reason decide to reset your run, like you're not really wasting potion. In Eureka, you probably drank 30 to 40 potions just doing 110. So it feels even more bad to reset at this one or reset later on 1120. Anyway, nothing good to say about Eureka. The early floors at least. So 2130, very annoying. Welcome to the club. There's so much wrong with this one, man. This is also the HP floors, which is insane to me, because with how much I dislike doing 2130, I really can't imagine that people enjoy doing it in a group. There's so much wrong with that set, man. It's monsters are so first the layout. Yeah, so from 1 to 20, but actually from 1 to 10 it's a layout. Then 1120 is a different layout. I don't mind the trap on these layouts too much. 21 to 40 is a different layout. I hate this layout and its traps. And the floor, this is the only layout in the whole 3D dungeons where like the actual like floor and walls are annoying. There's holes everywhere. There's small like 8 differences that make it that sometimes you witching and because you witching and there was a small ledge, then your witching misses every single monster, that even though it was like 2 feet away from you. Like it's ridiculous. Hallways are like trippy as hell. There's a hallway that's like a huge curve downwards. So sometimes you're like on the lower part and the monster is on the higher part, and then it says it's out of range. Monsters themselves on this set are super annoying, man. It's like I don't even know how many I have to mention. Like there's guys that put a stacking poison on you. There's guys with hard-hitting tank busters. There's guys there's so many. There's guys that pull you in and only show you the telegraph at the last second. There's turtles that you pull them and then not even 10 seconds after they get a 50% damage reduction forever. That's very bad for AoE pulls, by the way. It has the same problems as 2130 MLI as well, because it has the RNG thing at the end where the last 4 floors have more monsters in each room. But it's even worse in this case because this is also the floors that start having turtles, which means you're almost forced to use commanders to kill them. Because if you do an AoE pull that lasts 2 minutes usually, suddenly the turtle makes your AoE pull last 3 minutes instead. Very unviable. So I almost never like do the last 4 floors legit. And this, you still want to do this set in 30 minutes and full kill, basically. I'd say this, like, you maybe don't need to do it in 30 minutes, but it's kind of a big hit to your points, because the monsters are worth less kills starting from 1 to 30. So if you don't do this set in under 30 minutes, it's kind of a huge point loss. And it's still like it's still a little bit early, but it's definitely like annoying because it's almost 2 hours at this point, but you still really want to do it in under 30 minutes. Not to mention the boss. I think the boss has like, the mechanics of the boss are all right. But it has so much HP. It's ridiculous. It's so tanky. I think it's a little less tanky than 110, but it's attached to a set that has monsters that are so bad that you don't really care about the fact it's a little less tanky. It takes ages to kill. You need a clone for this boss. Like, you're never gonna score and not clone this boss. At least I don't tell you would do that. So yeah, annoying layout, annoying monsters. You still have to deal with annoying respawns, annoying RG in the end. Even worse, for this set is super hard, but you still want to try and keep Pommanders because you need Pommanders for the upcoming sets. It's tons of RNG. This set's bad. Like, this set's bad. I hate this set. The big reason I don't do EO score runs that much is these 3 sets. These 3 sets are 1120. I care. I know it's me a little less, but like these 2 sets, dude, like honestly almost deserve a tier of their own. Like they deserve like almost a thing worse and very annoying. I have nothing good to say about them. So anyway, 3140. So for you, I have to be careful because the first 30 floors feel so bad that I think it's kind of easy to like, and because they feel so bad, it has like an impact on the later floors, because like I can get to 31 with almost no pumps left, but I also can get to 31 with a lot of pumps left depending on how these 3 went. I'll try not to think of that too much though. 3140. Sorry. As pretty damn annoying monsters. And it's also, it's a set where you can make a decision. You can decide to speedrun it or not, and full kill in both cases. And usually you're going to make the decision depending on what your pumps are looking like. So I like decisions. Always nice. And you know, at this point, you are beyond the early floors. So like you should, like if you've survived to all the way from 1 to 30, it either costs you all your pumps and you're going to be doing this one slowly, or you got a little luck here and then you can attempt to speedrun this one. So it's not like, there's some RNG, but it doesn't feel as bad as the other ones. This floor also, it encourages doing AoE pulls, and they're doable, but there's definitely like annoying things in the way. Especially when you get to the later bit of this set, which has terrible monsters for AoE pulls, like patrols that do like huge cones that kill you in one shot, Garms that do Dragon's Voice and Ram's Voice without even, well, they just spam it, right, basically. Gozus that do like things, lots of things that don't show you telegraphs anymore, basically. Very difficult set if you're gonna speedrun it. If you're not gonna speedrun it, it's not that difficult. But I would say what really carries this set down for me is the layout is the same as 2130, and the layout is bad. Like I just think the layout is terrible. If this set had a different layout, I would like it much more, but the layout really drags this down for me. It's definitely not... It's not very annoying. Oh yeah, the boss of this too, the boss is Twin Tanya for this... it's kind of whatever. Like, the boss just has a... All it has is a gotcha, like, twister that it does when it does the dive, and then it kills you once in your life, and then you never think of it again, right? Though on the bright side, the boss is finally... This is the only boss that has like respectable HP values in EO. So you don't need a clone for it, and it dies pretty fast. That's always nice to see. I still don't really like this set though. Like, it's definitely not fun. Like, I don't go into this set having fun. It's between somewhat annoying and indifferent. I think somewhat annoying. I don't enjoy this set very much. Thank God though that there's no more respawns on this set. I'd say, you know what? I'd say the first like 5 floors of this set are pretty fun outside of the layout, because the monsters feel fair And then once you get to like 36, 37, 38, 39, the monsters become so bad at doing AoE pulls that it becomes almost like just burning through your commanders and praying that you didn't get 5 patrols, right? If it was only like the early floors, I'd say I'm like indifferent, but because the later bits such so much, I'll put it there. So 4150. Now from starting from 41, it's a little confusing, like what the sets have. Took me a while to remember. 4150 is when you start the cavern layout, the cavern layouts, right? It has like the Arturans that are walking around and doing like a quake. It has a little unicorns. It has like the guys that do elbow drop. And many more. Like the UTs, the guys that the Mudmans that do an AoE slow. It has guys, the Happies that do like a bait circle AoE. Lots of like AoEs and lots of untelegraphs. That's the same as the rest of EO. The layout is so much better, starting from 41 all the way to 80. It's so much better. It's actually a pretty nice layout. It has some wall traps, but I feel like they're rare enough where I don't mind them too much. I think the layouts are pretty fun. There's some jank, like invisible walls where there should not be invisible walls, but outside of that, I like the layout. This is also a set where you make a decision. You have to decide if you speedrun this set or not. The speedrun is difficult on this set, but I like it more than 3140. It feels more fair to me. Even though the monsters are annoying, it just feels more fair to me, more fun to manage. So you're gonna be doing a lot of AoE pulls on this set. Also a lot of landmines on this set. You do a lot of landmines the entirety of EO, but this set specifically, I always end up doing a lot of landmines. And you can do them pretty bait because most of the monsters early on, you can carry them around with you. As long as you're running a straight line, nothing's gonna hit you. I enjoy this set, honestly. I think it's fun. Oh yeah, the boss of this set is, let me remember, it's the Gozu, right? No, it's not the Gozu, it's the Garm. I think the boss of this set is fun. Probably one of my favorite boss in EO. It has like just a bunch of in-out variations. It's pretty fun. It has the lightning orb mechanic, which I don't like, but everything else I like it. It keeps you on your toes. It's also not too tanky. It's still a respectable amount of HP. I like the boss. I like the floor, and I like the decision you have to make. I think it's fun. I think it's somewhat fun. Tempting, almost tempted to put it in very fun. But I think I'll put in somewhat fun for now. I have a good time when I do this set. I don't dread it. I look forward to it. I'd say this is the first part of EO where I feel like the fun starts happening. Like until 41, I have no fun. I'm sorry, but I have no fun until this floor. So 5160, another cavern layout. This is where you start seeing sprites. This is the anti-streaming set. This is the worst set when you're streaming because there's so many things that catch you off guard. It has the sprites that blow up. It has the emirs that have a reflect thing. It has a bunch of monsters that do like... it has like a bunch of monsters that do like no telegraphs, right? Of course. It has some knockback shenanigans. Some patrols that you have to watch out for because the shards. At this point of EO, like as soon as you start going into the 41-ish, like every monster has a gimmick that you just gotta know and learn. This is a floor that's fun to optimize because you can do AoE pulls, but it's like super specific the way you gotta do the pulls. Like you can pull multiple slugs, but then you gotta like target yourself so you don't auto attack. You can pull shards, but then you have to respect their line AoE, but it shows you the telegraph clearly, so then you can like avoid it more easily. You can AoE pull the sprites, but then you gotta watch out for when they die. I enjoy this set. Also, a very interesting tidbit is that towards the end of the set, there's a lot of monsters that knock you back. But for some reason, these floors have a higher chance to give you the no knockback buff. So I like that. Because it feels almost like the only time. It's one of the few times that you get a no knockback debuff. Well, buff/debuff. and you can actually like optimize with it. This happens a little bit in PotD, but this is the set where I feel like it's the only time where I look at this buff and I feel I can get something out of it. This set, you don't make a decision anymore, though. You're not going to speedrun this set. You're going to try to full kill this set every run. Definitely, I have a good time with this set. Somewhat fun. The boss of this set is the Gozu. The Gozu is an okay boss. It has like a Simon Says mechanic that you can, unfortunately, is a very static pattern. So like once you figure it out, it's not that hard. But it's still like, you know, I don't dislike it. It's all right. It's still, this is the last boss where the HP is like okay. Starting from after this boss, HP start getting ridiculous. This is the last but this is like honestly, this boss is kind of like, it's a little tanky. I don't notice it because most of the time you're gonna use a clone on it. If you don't use a clone on this boss, it actually takes quite a while to kill. So maybe this boss is when they start being tanky and annoying a little more. It's just this one you tend to use a clone, so you don't notice. And yes, this is a streaming issue, but this set is very annoying when you're streaming. But I feel like I should not rank the set with this criteria in mind, so I'll put it in somewhat fun. When I'm doing this set off stream, I have a good time. I think I have as much of a good time as 4150. All right, 6170 is hard. This set, I think, is really fun though. Like, this is a set that has a lot of monsters that have all their gimmicks again. Like mainly, there's the guys, the Manticores, basically. There's ninjas start appearing. There's like the Diplos that put like a Vol on you if you get it. There's multiple monsters, but it's still the cavern layout. It's the cavern layout that starts being like red-ish, but it's the same layout. And this is the first set where auto attack, like monsters still can't treat you, and still there's still no threat, like if you're pulling them one by one. But this is the first set where, like, if you're doing AoE pulls, it starts getting real spicy with the amount of damage you're taking. This set has a crazy room for optimization. You can do like pretty big pulls, man, but it's so like technical and so tricky, and that you're gonna be doing things like pulling specific monsters and facing your back against the wall to like prevent the nutback, and then you're gonna be pulling monsters that only do certain mechanics when you're close, when you're far away from them. So then you're gonna like pull them to you and then move a little bit. Landmines are super useful in this set. Usually you try to do landmines like for a bunch. Usually the dream is you full kill the set, but it's very hard to full kill, which means like every single bit of AoE you can do is gonna help. I have a great time with this set. The boss on this set is unfortunately, let me remember. This is Magnet is 80, 70 is the Tiger. It's the Tiger boss. Tiger boss is probably the, well, if we exclude like the first 30 floors, it's probably the worst boss in EO. Its mechanics are too easy to do. It doesn't do damage. There's not really room for optimization either. Like, once you realize this charge does no damage, you can face tank it, and that's pretty much it for your optimization. Not a fan of the boss, but honestly, I think the set is so strong. It's such a good set that I would put it in extremely fun, even though the boss is ass. I have a great time on this set. This is a set I look forward to in EO every single time. So I'll put it there. So 7180 is... So technically the 71s slash 171 is when it starts being like the really hard sets. In EO, it's not really true. In my opinion, 7180 is almost the same difficulty as 6170. It's kind of similar. AoE pulls, like trying to do AoE pulls, trying to do landmines, yeah, etc. There's like some gimmicks, like this is the monkey set, the infamous monkey. I don't mind the monkeys too much though. I like this set less because I think the monsters are more annoying on this set. They're like there's a unicorns, the unicorns that spam like a nutbag. There's the elephants that do like this super annoying telegraph. There's the curls that do like massive cones. There's the monkeys which have a cool gimmick, but then are so easy to fight that you just end up AoE pulling them and not even having to deal with their mechanic. I'm not a fan of the monsters, though this plays kind of similar to 6170. This boss is the Magnet boss, which is probably the hardest boss for me in EO, personally. I think it's okay. Like, I've done it so much at this point that I know the mechanics like perfectly, but when I started out, this boss was the one that scared me the most, so it's always nice to be scared a little bit. Now the thing with this, I feel like this set suffers a little bit from being the one after 61, because you're likely to have like spent all your sights on 61, which usually means your landmines on 71 are to be more limited, plus the landmines are kind of ass on the early floors anyway, because there's too many monsters that are like tricky to deal with. Nonetheless, this is still the cavern layout. I still think this is a fun set. I'd say it's very fun. I have a good time on this set. Yeah, I have a good time on this set. Lots of room to optimize. Just like I said, you can still do AoE pulls and all that. So I think it deserves to be very fun. Okay, 8190. So 81 to 100 is the last layout, the endgame layout. Looks very cool. Wall traps are basically non-existent too on this set. I don't even know if there's a single one, probably, but I don't think I've ever hit it. So 8190, man, it's in a weird place, because I think the monsters on this set have interesting ideas, but just don't feel good to fight. The only thing that I find fun on this set, my only point of pleasure of this set is popping a liturgy and then seeing like how big I can do a pull. If you don't have a liturgy, doing AoE pulls is not very viable, because there's too many bait AoEs that are like bullshit to dodge. This is the set that has like this is also the first set that has monsters that have a gaze mechanic in their rooms. Is it the only set? No, there's other sets that what is it? I think this is the only set that has monsters like that. So, but well, basically there's a monster that does a gaze mechanic in its room. Then you have to look away, or you get a 20-second Petri, I think. Unfortunately, the size of the floor is so big that this almost never like becomes an issue. Which is a shame. Plus the AoE itself, the gaze itself is probably the size of a room, so you don't really have to watch out as much as you would think. The boss of this set is fun though. I think it's a good boss. Has like a lot of mechanics that even if you do the mechanics over and over, you always have to watch out for them. There's a small amount of optimization too. Well, a fair amount of optimization, in fact, for the boss. Like all three of its main mechanics, you have to like do them in certain ways to get your maximum uptime. I'd say it's more fun as a caster though. It punishes cast bars more, I feel like, than melee. But yeah, I like the boss. I don't like the set though. Especially because this set is before the last set, so it's the same as FFXIV, right? Like you want to try and use not too much on this set, because then the last set has more monsters and a higher chance of treasure rooms. So usually what ends up happening on this set is you do it with like almost no palm. And a big difference between this set and FFXIV. FFXIV, so like, you know, the 81... the 8190, I put it in extremely fun. It's really fun because it's really hard, even though you don't choose all the commanders, but it's not the same in 8190 in EO. 8190 EO is a joke. Like, you're not really... Like, the monsters are mechanics, but like, if you do the mechanics, you're not going to run out of time, and like, there's nothing really threatening you. So usually, this set is the set in EO where if I'm streaming, I'm chatting the most, because it's the one I have to pay the least amount of attention to. Which is a shame, because the boss is really fun and the layout looks so good, but it's just not enjoyable, man. Like, I don't look forward to this set. Now, I would not put it the same level. I'd say indifferent. Like, I feel indifferent about it. It's there. I do it. Brain turns autopilot on. I do it. And that's it. So last set of EO, 91-100, still the very pretty darkness layout. This set is definitely more fun at 8190. This is the last set, of course, so this is where you're going to be using everything. But a big problem with 81 to 100 is the demi-clone rate is so high. And I mean, very high. I think more than 50% of your silver chests will have a clone. That even if you use everything, you still finish the damn floor set with things left. Like, because you'll find like 3 clones on like the last 2 floors and there's nothing you can do about it. So this is annoying, definitely. The monsters are more fun on this set though than the last one. I feel like they have more interesting DMHs and mechanics. They still don't hurt very much though, unfortunately. This is another set with doing liturgy pulls is very fun as well. I'd say the one thing I don't like about this set is the patrol rate is ridiculous. Once you start getting to like the 94 plus, there's quite often like 8+ patrols on each floor, which just slows down everything. And it is kind of annoying. It also has the drone monster, which I heavily dislike. This is like the sprite that blows up, except it's a drone this time. I don't know why I dislike it more over there. I think it's because you're way more likely to dread these floors, and when you dread the guy that blows up, it's just a pain to keep track of. Because I wish this is very specific, but I wish the dread when you slap like the drone, I wish it just deleted the drone. I've died so much, man, to like slapping a drone and then just dying to the explosion after, and it always, I mean, yeah, it's my mistake, but I don't find that very fun. Okay, but one thing about this set, the boss of this set, I think is amazing. And it's not even, like, it's partly because I think the boss has fun mechanics, except one you can cheese, which is a bit of a shame, but it's the only set, it's the only endgame set in all 3 Deep Dungeon that has a boss before you finish this the whole place, right? I think that's really cool. This alone, if it were not for the boss, I would put this in indifferent. Because of the boss, I think this set is really cool. Like, just because of, like, the boss puts it 2 tiers above for me, I think. Like, I love the boss, man. The boss is, I look forward to the boss every single time I do EO. This is probably my favorite. Like, if I had to choose one floor in EO, which I love, it's the 99 floor. It's my favorite floor. Boss is fun, has like super cool music. It's very tanky, but at least you know you've got like all the clones you would need at this point. Like, I've never been to this boss without a clone, and I use my palm, and there's like an insane person. I just use them nonstop. Mechanics are fun, except like the one you can cheese. The fights on 99 is very cool. Because what happens in Level on High and PotD quite often is you have an anticlimactic last floor because you kept a rage for it. So you just like, or Petri, so you just do it in 2 minutes and you get out. But you can never like cheese the 99 floor, and you gotta do it before your victory. So yeah, I'd say like the set itself, I honestly think I'm kind of indifferent. Maybe like if we were just talking about the set itself, I would put it probably between indifferent and somewhat fun. But because of the boss, it just bumps it up there, in my opinion. So if we look at Eureka, Heaven on High was like concentrated in mostly in the average. Eureka is like, it has low lows, man. Like, I think Eureka has too many sets I don't enjoy. Like these 4 sets, which also happen to be the first 4 sets, so it's not like you get a break, right? It's not like you do like you don't do like a fun set and then an unfun set and then a fun set, right? They're all like back to back. All of them, which is annoying. Like technically Heaven on High is kind of the same. Like the 1 to 40 stretch is all like not that fun, but at least it's not very annoying. Like these, like, man, it's so like, I could easily put this in very annoying as well, but I just this ruins EO for me. These, if they ever nerf these 4 sets, my enjoyment of EO will increase dramatically. All right, so last one, Palace. So Palace is actually, I tend to say it's my favorite Deep Dungeon. I guess we're about to see if that's the truth or not, because I've never really analyzed it in depth. Scoring in Palace is very different. I said the same for all 3 Deep Dungeons, so of course they're all very different. But Palace, I think, like let me put it that way. The first 100 floors of Palace, no, the first 150 floors of Palace are like totally different if you score. Like if I don't score, I think 150 Palace would all be like in like these bottom 2 tiers. But because I score these floors, they're gonna be in like very different spots. So anyway, let's start. 110 Palace is probably the most the most easy set that we've got in all 3 deep dungeons. Monsters die in like literally 2 hits, sometimes 1. Weirdly enough, it's kind of fun that you start at level 1. I always like starting at level 1, even though it's super easy. It's kind of chill, right? Like, and it's funny to see what kind of skills you have at level 1 and what you unlock. Like, for example, did you know Red Mage starts level 1 with its melee skill? Like, you actually start with your melee unpowered skill rather than your spells. That's always funny to see. There's absolutely nothing of worth to mention there. Boss is a joke. Monsters are a joke. In for scoring, you will 100% get to the last floor with like usually 12 plus minutes left. So you've got to kill these 12 minutes. But like even on high, it's the very first set. So I don't mind the fact that it's so easy that much. Like, dude, it's weird. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. But I feel like I have more fun. I have fun on this set, even though there's no challenge and you waste 20 minutes, 12 minutes of your life waiting. I guess it's because I take G pose when I'm waiting. I like, it just starts chill, this set. This is like, well, it starts chill, but there's also no threat of dying from a trap like there is in Heaven. Like, because yeah, there's wall traps, but you would never die to a monster on this set. So it's surprisingly a little more fun than Heaven I 110. It feels weird, man, to put it like, it's just fun. It's brain dead, but it's fun. I don't know. It's kind of a weird spot, but I look at it and yeah, I think it deserves to be there. 1120. So this is where we see the slimes, and honestly, that's the only monster worth mention. This is also a new layout. This is the cavern, which has annoying wall traps, but it's still early enough where you're not really gonna die from a trap. The only way you would die on this set from a trap is you're pulling a slime, and then you fight the slime for like 10 seconds without killing it somehow, and then you step on a trap, and then it blows up. But that's never even happened to me, so... so yeah, 1120. So this is honestly, I like this set to score, because like you're gonna be doing AoE pulls. Some jobs have a much easier time than other jobs. It's not that difficult. Healers are pretty interesting on that set specifically because you still don't have your AoEs. So which means you're doing like AoE pulls, but you're single targeting / dotting each monster. The boss of this set kind of slaps, man. I know this is kind of a scoring perspective, but if you do this set and you don't score and you are under-leveled, the boss of this set slaps really hard, which is not really fun, honestly. It just makes you waste your potions, but it always catches me off guard. I don't know. Like, do I dislike this set? No. Do I feel indifferent about it? I kind of feel indifferent about it. But it's a little, like, specifically for healer, I have fun on this set. Like, I think I'll put in fun just because of the healers. Like the fact that healers don't have AoEs makes this set just kind of enjoyable. And, you know, I would put it indifferent anyway. So if I was going to make an average of what I think of this set, I would put it there. I have a good time with this set. I look... oh yeah, one thing. Oh yes, how did I not mention that? PotD has one big downside, is that you have to care about respawns for 150 floors. This is definitely annoying, and definitely I think a big reason that it's not making everything feel like crap to me right now is because I'm very used to it. I've done it so much. So like specifically for 110, the respawn is 40 seconds, which is insane. But 110 has a very specific thing where there's exactly 2 monsters in each room for the first 6 floors, I believe. and there's always 4 squares. So tracking the respawns in 110 is surprisingly easy because you can easily, like, because you go through a floor, you kill 6 monsters, and then you know there's been like a respawn, so you know there's only one respawn like somewhere. It's very easy to keep track of the respawns in 110. And then 1120 is the first set where the gameplay you adopt for respawns will remain the same all the way to 140, I'd say. So what is the gameplay like? Usually you'll do the floor in one AoE pull. Then you will have to find a respawn that spawns. Then you would kill it. And if it was close enough to the key, then you leave. If the respawn was far away from the key, then you decide if you want to go or if you want to wait for the next respawn and then go. I'm really used to it at this point, so I guess it doesn't like bother me that much. It bothered me a lot at the beginning though. But anyway, yes, I think I have fun with 1120, so I'll put it there. 2130 is a cavern layout again, but it's like red caverns. This is where you see like the Gozus, well, it's hard to remember the monsters exactly. There's like monsters don't really have mechanics or things of mention except a few in PotD. So I won't really go over that over the monsters, but they basically all do telegraphs. That's it. Well, except the Gozu that doesn't untelegraph, but it doesn't one-shot you. So anyway, this set has a small decision to make. Yes, because if you're not aware in PotD, you full kill and do the sets in 30 minutes, guaranteed all the way to 100. So you're never going to make a decision about that. There's a small decision you can make in 2130 though. You can alter early on, if you found one, to try and get more HP faster, to try and get your level higher, because you will not be max level in PotD until you are at floor 40. Well, until you're at floor 37, you're not going to be max level. So you can decide to use an alter on this set, and also you can also use Lust to do like bigger AoE, to do your AoE pulls faster. That's a small decision. It's a pretty big decision on healer, because this set is pretty rough on healer. You unlock your AoE usually around level 30, like around level 27 is usually when you get your AoE. So until that point, you have to use Lust for AoEs on healer. I mean, this set is it's a little fun on healer, but like I don't really. Oh yeah, and the boss of this set is annoying. It's like a Hydra that does fire in ice puddles. It's fairly tanky, and that's it. It's just a little too tanky. Mechanics are not difficult. I feel kind of indifferent about this set. Like I don't vibe with it too. I definitely would rather do 1 to 20 than 2130. 3140 is a different layout again. It's like kind of like a palace layout, like a undead underground, like overground with trees palace, and it will be the same layout to all the way to 50. 3140. It's kind of black sheep, man. This is the set I can remember the least, because this set is very like unimpressive. Nothing really happens there. I'd say wall traps are a little more annoying from 31 to 50, but even then, it's kind of whatever. You're going to be doing one big AoE pull, and then you're going to backtrack and kill the respawn and then leave. Honestly, yeah, this set is super, I'm super indifferent to this set. And the boss of this set is a ghost, a giant ghost, that does a very long mechanic, but you can kill it before the mechanic in a store run. On any job except a healer. In fact, I think you can kill it on every single job if you're willing to lose the boss, because if you just stay in the loss the whole time, I think you kill it before the mechanic, no matter what's your job. Yeah, I think I feel very indifferent about this set, honestly. Now, 4150, I don't dislike this set. This is the same layout. It has some like monsters. I believe the rate is on this set. I think the rate is the only thing worth to mention. It just does a base stream AoE that you have to make sure you don't get stuck for, because you're going to be doing AoE pulls, of course. The big upside of this set is that the respawn is 2 minutes, and 2 minutes is a lot more fun to manage than 1 minute, because 2 minutes means that you finish your pull, and then usually the respawn is happening in like 25 second, 30 second ish. So you just gotta find a respawn and then you leave. And then you do this 10 times, basically. Well, 9 times. The boss of this set is also Edda, which is, I mean, she doesn't really have fun mechanics. Well, she has some mechanics, but you can face tank almost everything she does, and she has good music. That's a nice thing. This set is actually also, this is the first set where you can fail the speedrun if you're like not careful. So it's a little hard. It's the first difficulty. It's the first real difficulty you get in a store run. It's not big, but it's there. It's definitely more fun in 3140. I don't feel indifferent about this. I like this set. Like, it's not very fun. It's fun. It's somewhat fun. Like, it's not because there's a little bit of difficulty, and like there's at least one monster you gotta keep you gotta watch out for, and yeah, I think that's about it. By the way, in PotD, you're really not gonna be using landmines all the way to like 100. So traps are just not even. Every single parameter you use, almost, will be to optimize your points. Very rarely will you use a parameter for time, all the way to like, I'd say all the way to 80 at least. So 5160. 5160 is like the beginning of the, I like to call them the trash layouts, because I don't like these layouts. 51 to 80. Lots of wall traps. Monsters that are not really worth a mention, like they just do things. They don't hurt that much. You're probably gonna be doing it in one AoE pull most of the floors, but then because wall traps are so common, then your AoE pulls are sometimes gonna be split in two because you can't afford to go into rooms and risk of trap. And at this point, you're 30 hours into the run as well, so you don't want to just waste your life like that. This is also the floor you spam for XP. It's not a fun set. This boss is the horse, which is not fun either. And also has a very annoying thing where the orbs it spawns at the edges, where sometimes the orbs will explode without a telegraph, and sometimes it will explode with a telegraph. I don't know why it's like that. Don't know why it's been like that for like 5 years, but it's like that. So honestly, this is the first set which I actually find annoying in Palace. This is a set which well, funny story. When I'm doing a Palace scroll run off stream, usually I'll do like 1 to 50 in one sitting, and then I'll stop at 51 because I'm like I don't want to do this right now. Like, it's boring. I don't like this. 6170 is kind of the same story, same layout, same annoying wall traps, same monsters that don't do much of worth of mention. Well, there's one monster. I think the Mind Flayer is on that set. Mind Flayer is annoying in AoE pull, so it puts a massive slow on you. It might be this set or the next one, I don't remember, but there's nothing much else to say. Like, the boss is the snake, which does so little damage you can face tank everything again. I have nothing to say. It's annoying. Same with the next set. It's also annoying. 7180, same layout. Boss is like Baby Behemoth, which is not fun because it doesn't do damage on. It's very easy to avoid his stains. He does Eclipse it mid-air, but you kill it before it drops. And even if it drops, he only does it once. Monsters hurt a little more, but like still not really an issue. You're still going to be using you're still gonna be doing everything in one AoE pull. There's one thing that's a little different about this set than the other two, is that the next set is when things start becoming like much harder. Well, fairly hard. The next set will be fairly hard to full kill and do in 30 minutes. So usually this set, if you don't want to use too much, which can lead you into situations where you feel a little challenged to make it in time. Now, in my case, it doesn't happen that often, but I could see this happen to like a new runner. So like, I'd say like this could be an indifferent. It's like this one I think is a little more fun than 5170. Well, in my case, they're kind of the same. I mean, this is my tier list after all. So, okay, so 8190, this is the first set where things actually start getting real for scroll runs. This is the volcano layout. Has some wall traps, not too many, and the few it has, I feel like you can memorize them. Though I have not memorized most of them, but it's not as bad as the previous 3 sets. So yes, this is still like you're still gonna be doing everything in one pull. Still gonna be doing the response. The downside of this set is the boss is a little tankier than the average POTD boss. And also there's some very annoying monsters towards the end. Specifically, there's like Garms and Dragons that have like super high HP and also have massive hitbox. So they tend to just not play very nice in AoE pulls. And there's also the Scorpions that have a pulling effect, which you cannot arm's length. Not a fan of things you can't arm's length, like I said. It makes this set annoying a little bit, but this set is challenging, right? So this, I like the fact that it's challenging because you want to kill everything in 30 minutes. Now, I wouldn't say it's fun. Like, I'd say I'm kind of indifferent about it. It sounds really crazy that I prefer 110 to 80, 190, but I really just feel like that's the truth. The boss of this set has small optimizations to do that can be fun. It has basically you can stun the boss or the bombs, so you know that, and you can also pre-position the boss, but it's not like a big deal. It's not a massive deal. So 91-100 is actually pretty hard, I'd say. Like not crazy, but it can give me trouble here and there. It's the same volcano layout. The first part of this set is kind of similar to 8190, except it doesn't have trash monsters. And then once you get to 96, there is a lot of like monsters that actually hurt, especially if you're playing a DPS. So your AoE pulls is gonna be you're going to start using like commanders to help you with your AoE pulls, like Witchings and Rezos and all that. Talking of Rezos, this is probably the first set where you may start using your Rezos and Lusts for doing AoE damage. Like you might have done that early on if you were a healer, but if you were not a healer, this is probably the set where you start using your AoE commanders for like damage. Boss of this set is kind of tanky, but I don't mind it because he's kind of an interesting boss. Like he has ads that he revives, and then in a scoring run like context, then you want to use as little resource to kill it as you can, because your resolution is an AoE commander, which means it is good to do big AoE pulls, which means you don't want to use 2 resos on the boss, so you're going to be doing this boss with kind of in a risky way, because you want to use only 1 reso to get rid of all the ads. And that makes the boss fairly fun. Personally, I've come up with my own strat for this boss where I use 2 Lust, 1 reso. I'm sure there's multiple ways to do this boss fast, but that's the way I found, and it's nice to have like this kind of flexibility and an actually challenging boss. Because this is the first boss that's challenging on POTD. So yeah, I like this set. This set, by the way, you remember how I said the Handwater stat squish like nerfed 150 on high? It's different in Palace. In Palace, the stat squish buffed 81 to 130 to 140. Monsters became tankier and hurt more. And honestly, I think this made this set more fun. Like, would I say it's very fun? No. I'd say, well, that's a rough one. I'd say it's somewhat fun, but it could maybe get bumped up. Like it's fun to have a challenge. And also on this set, the respawn is 2 minutes, so that's also nice because you don't have to do as much backtracking. All right, and now the last 100 floors for POTD. So there's a lot to talk about the upcoming ones. So this one actually though is quite simple. 101 to 110 is almost always a recovery set. So you're going to be just recovering your commanders because you probably use quite a lot on the 91 to 100 stretch. You're going to be doing a lot of AoE pulls. This is a volcano layout again. You're going to be doing a lot of AoE pulls. Monsters hurt quite a lot, in fact, but they don't have complicated mechanics, right? So it's really just a knowledge check of how much can you tank and can you avoid getting jumped by patrols. Also, this set specifically has a very weird thing where each room has 2 to 4 monsters instead of 2 to 3 by default. So you're going to be killing a lot more than usual, which honestly, it's nice because it's like it's a recovery set, but then you kill more things than usual. Because there's more monsters, even though this is a recovery set, so which means you're going to spend an hour killing everything, it's gonna be close. Like, you can't just 1v1 every monster. If you do that, you're gonna run out of time. So you must do like some amount of AoE pull, but then you need to save your commanders while you're doing it, because then you need your commanders for the coming sets, right? So honestly, like, this has some annoying monsters like the Yarzan, and the respawn is specifically like pretty annoying on this set because there's already so many monsters. But I feel like if you ask me which of the sets do you like the most in the first 11 sets, I'd say this one. It's kind of fun, honestly. I like this set. Now that I think about it. Okay. So, 11-120 is finally a different layout. This is back to cavern layout. This set is really hard. And for a scoring run, you have to decide if you speedrun it or not. If you don't speedrun it, it's not that difficult. Plus, there's less monsters on this set than the previous one because we're back to the 2 to 3 monsters per room. So usually you don't have to do like AoE pulls as much. If you score this though, it's absolutely an insane set because you want to kill everything when you're scoring as well. When you're speedrunning. There's monsters that just don't play nice in AoE pulls. There's the frogs that stun you. There's the slimes. There's the moorballs that sleep you. There's like monsters just hurt too. Like, if you pull like 15 things on a DPS, they might kill you through a witch chain. I like the flexibility. I like that you can make this set either easy or hard depending on what you want to do. And it's not even like a huge difference in points, because the thing with PotD, the next 4 sets are all the same. You can speedrun or not the sets. So like, so they all influence each other. So like, if I speedrun 111 to 120, then I join my commanders, which then means 121 to 130 becomes a recovery set, which then means 131 to 140 becomes so sorry, when I said the 3, so sorry, let me rephrase this entire thing. So 101 to 140 are like the 4, they're like the 4 sets that are associated with each other's. Personally, I don't find that 101 to 110 is worth speedrunning because it has more kills. So this set, in my head, is always a recovery set. But then the next 3 sets, you can decide if you recover. And recover means you spend an hour killing all the monsters. Or if you speedrun, which means you spend 30 minutes killing all the monsters. So like I said, the 11-20, if you speedrun it, it means the next set you're going to recover, which means the set after that you're going to speedrun. Well, you have the option to speedrun. But you can also like switch up the order, and then you can decide to recover 11 to 20 and then speedrun 121 to 130, right? Like, you can switch it up depending on your preference and your commander situation. So like that whole flexibility between the next 3 sets, I think it makes them pretty fun. Much more different than a regular run where these sets are kind of whatever because they're not challenging. But in a scoring run, these are quite all right. Flexibility is nice. They're really difficult if you speedrun them, but they're fair. Like, it's difficult, but it's fair. You just have to be very mindful of what you pull. The bosses are not that tanky. They're not crazy tanky either. This boss specifically on this, I didn't really mention the boss on 110. It's because it does nothing. Nothing worth mention. The boss on 120 has like room for optimization. I don't dislike it. He's like the one on 420, but he has more HP and so does his bees. You can do some funny things with like a loss. You can stay in your loss for like 60 seconds if you're a job that doesn't do the DPS, for example. You can even witch it. Sorry. You can even witch in the bees to gain time by attacking the boss and then kill the bees with the next set of bees. You can let the bee survive so you can tank a final stain. I think this is a fun set, man. Like, just the flexibility and all the different strategies. Which is weird because I honestly don't look forward to this set because it's so hard, but also kind of look forward to it. Like, you know, in a masochist way. Again, it's like it's annoying, but in a good way. Best way to put it. 121 to 130 is exactly like a 11 to 120. You can decide what you want to do with this. Now, in my case, I never speedrun this set. It's always a recovery set. And this set specifically, very weird, but it has a higher chance of lure-ins. So you can affect your performance on this set by using less sights on the previous set. So there's a whole strategy there. Monsters are nothing worth a mention. There were some annoying monsters on the previous set, but this set doesn't really have annoying monsters. You will need to do AoE pulls. The boss is bad. It's the guy that does fire and ice puddles. Nothing you can optimize. You just gotta go through the motions. And also, it's a boss that just like drains your potions for no reason. So that's also annoying. I like this set less than even though it's in it's a set where you can make a decision. I don't speedrun this set ever. I have tried a few times, but even then I didn't enjoy it like more than the previous set. I'd say it's somewhat fun. I don't go crazy over it. It's fun when you have a lot of sights and you can do massive luring pulls. I'd say this is when this is the most fun. 131 to 140. This set again, you can decide you speedrun it or recover. Usually I speedrun it. Though recovering this set is perfectly fine. Because 141, 150 is the first set where you cannot full kill, which means if you use too many palms on 131, 140, then you will suffer on the next set. But I still speedrun this set. It's a fun set. Monsters feel fair until you get to the later bits, and then in the later bits of this set, there starts being more annoying monsters. But this is still the cavern layout. What I like about this set is I feel like doing AoE pulls is also more viable than 121, 130 because the monsters just hurt less. So that's nice. I mean, I have a good time with this set. The boss, also the thing that's special with this set is the boss is weak to resolution. So the boss always takes 1 minute, which makes the boss a joke in a way, but also the resol strats you have to do for the boss requires very precise timing on your bursts. So that, it's not like skill-less, you still gotta do it. Plus, I like the fact that the boss takes so little time, because then it means you have more time on the set. Whereas most of the other sets, you have less time the higher you go, because the bosses start being tankier. So I like this flexibility. I honestly like this set a lot. I don't know if I would put it in extremely fun, but it's kind of close to in between. This is one of my favorite sets in PotD, I'd say. For scoring, at least. Like, because another thing is resolution is viable on this set as well. Like, there's a lot of undead monsters. So and you need to keep one resolution for the boss as well. So usually I empty out my resolutions on this set. I don't know, I just like this set. I have a lot of fun with it. So 141 to 150, cavern layout again. This is the last cavern layout. This is the first set where you will not full kill unless you want to invest a lot of commanders into it. You will definitely not speedrun this though. This is also the first set I would say where AoE pulls start being really tricky. Like, you're not just gonna AoE pull just because if you AoE pull, it requires really good knowledge of the monsters and good situations. The boss of this set is fun. It's the succubus, which has a crazy amount of optimization you can do with it. Definitely the boss, I think, brings this set up because the set itself, don't enjoy it too much. It's hard. There's some difficulty, but it feels like kind of bullshit sometimes. There's some undead, so you can reso. But there's the thing I really hate about this set is the freaking succubus that shoot AoEs in other rooms because they're so big they're such big AoEs, and they do about 50% of your health on the DPS, so like you can't really face tank them. And most of the time, all it really does it's just annoying, and then you want to pull all the succubus, but then like when you fight them, they have giant AoEs that they do on themselves and you. So if you're playing something like a melee, it makes the uptime like kind of a pain. I don't love this set. The boss though is fun. I think I would put it in somewhat fun. Like I just, if it weren't for the boss, I would honestly put this in indifferent, I think, because it's like you can't really AoE pull that much anymore, which like in a way brings the difficulty down, because now you're going to be fighting most things 1v1, but things are still not threatening enough 1v1 where you're going to feel like pressured. So all that, like this set is mostly how many commanders are you willing to use to kill more things. So yeah, I think it's somewhat fun, mostly because of the boss and how much optimization you can do on the boss. The reason I say you can optimize the boss, by the way, is just there's all the mechanics that there's the zombies that you have, like technically you have to kite away, but you can stand in the middle and kill them. There's a succubus ad, which means it's one of the few times in that game where you can do cleave damage. And well, it just so happened that your lust is cleave damage, so then you can do like entire lust strats for it. And there's a lot of loss of uptime for melee, but you can be greedy and you can plan your GCDs better. Oh, but I think boss carries this set for me. And now the endgame sets, the sets where the floors are very pretty. The layout of these 5 next sets is amazing. Very fun layout. It's like, it doesn't look as pretty as EO, in my opinion, but it feels better. Like these 5 sets, in my opinion, is where the layout feels the best to play. Because the layout is super open, but isn't massive like EO, which means usually if you're standing in a room, you can almost see like, you can basically see the 8 squares around you and like what's in these rooms. And it's very easy to see the patrols. Like it's easy to plan your route in this set compared to the other set. So you're not really gonna get jumped by things. So big fan. This is also the first part of the run where the respawn is no longer a thing. So the respawn becomes 5 minutes from this point on. So you're gonna see a respawn probably once every floor, but you're not really going to like play around the respawns that much. Like you just want to be out of a room when a respawn happens, and that's it. So anyway, 151 to 160. So for a scoring run, you can full kill this set. Usually you try, but it requires a lot of commanders. AoE pulls are more viable on this set too than the previous one. And the reason for that is because from this point on, wall traps are not an issue. We know all the wall traps. There's 3 wall traps on this set. Very easy to memorize them. Which means if you're going to set up an AoE pull, there is never a risk of hitting a trap. So you can easily pull all the monsters that you know are easy. We pop a steal, and then you can just go wild, and you can do that for a lot of the floors. I think this is a very fun set. The boss of this set is also the horse. Which is exactly like the horse on 60s. You might think it's trash, but it's actually, it does so much damage that it's kind of fun. I think this set is one of my favorite. Like, I really don't feel bad putting it in extremely fun. The pulls are fun. There's some tricky monsters. There's one monster I just don't like on this set. It's the Soul Flayer. Outside of this monster, though, I just kind of vibe with all of them. AoE pulls are viable. Using your commanders feels fine because there's still like 1.5 set of recovery. So you don't feel too bad using your commanders to kill more things. Boss is pretty challenging on DPS jobs. Even tanks don't have it as bad there because tanks can do like pretty massive pulls. Landmines are very viable. Even on a DPS job, you can do a landmine at this point. Witching Lust is viable. Like this is one of my favorite sets. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine putting it in there. This is also where you can start getting good money from bags. And even better, even if you're doing a super sweaty score run, you can still go for the bags because it's not so hard that like Alien and Lorraine would ruin your life. So you know, just good things to say about this set. 161, 170. This set is not that bad if you're not scoring. This set is really hard if you're scoring. Like, it's not as hard as EO 6170 because like AoE pulls are less viable because things just chunk you real hard. So like you're not gonna be pulling 3 things on DPS there. And also you can't really go wild and do landmines. Like there's a lot of landmines, but you can't go wild and spam your landmines because you need the landmines for the next set. Like you just really need them. So if you do landmines on this set, it's because you're lucky and you find sites. Monsters themselves, like I said, hurt a lot. I think the thing that's annoying about this set though is the monsters are proximity quite often. Lots of proximity monsters, which means getting the full reveals is almost like RNG sometimes. Well, it is RNG. Like sometimes you'll need to kill 5 more monsters than you would need to get to a reveal. And on this set, if you start like going really deep for the reveals, you can have time issues. And the boss of this one is the snake. I'd say the snake is less enjoyable than the horse. Snake does a lot of damage, but it feels more. Yeah, one thing that's specific: the horse cannot crit, so its damage is very consistent. The snake can crit, which you might think makes things more spicy, but really all that means is you have to like charge your potions non-stop on the snake because you're not gonna do the snake without steal unless you're a healer. And if you're a healer and you do it without steal, well, you can get one shot by a double crit. So it's like really all that means is the boss, you drink steal and then you charge potions, right? So I like this set less than 151, but I still kind of like it. I like it more on tank, to be fair. Like if I'm playing a DPS, it's maybe like a little lower, but at tank, I quite enjoy this set on tank, so I'll put it in very fun for now. All right, 171, 180. The first difficult like / real set when you're doing a normal run. This set has a lot going on for it. So this set, you always do massive landmines on the first few floors. And it just so happens that the first few floors have easy monsters. So doing landmines is very viable on these floors and even on a DPS. Like it's very easy to do the landmines there. And plus it's the layout is very open, so you can see all the patrols coming, right? You're not gonna get jumped by a tiger like you would in Heaven on High. And the way this set is structured, the first 5 floors are actually very easy. I'd say the first 5 floors are easier in the previous set. Then difficulty spikes like insanely, starting from like 176. As soon as you start seeing like monkeys and Enzus, is it 175? I think it's 175 in PotD where the monkeys can start. In EO, it's 170. It's 76. Anyway, so yeah, there's a huge difficulty spike towards the end. But I think it's fine because it means that you want to perform good on the first floors, and then the better you perform on the first floors, the better you will be into the later bits of this floor, and also the boss, right? I don't think I need to mention the boss of this set is Behemoth, the best deep dungeon boss in my opinion, by pure accident. By the way, it's the best deep dungeon boss by pure accident. Like they just happened to make a banger of a boss for solo. Lots of like different strategies for this boss. Super like so much room for optimization. Like basically this boss becomes different depending on the patches, because then if things get less damage, then we need to update the rotations. Yeah, so this boss is just like the most fun boss in my opinion. Like this, there is no way this set can go anywhere below extremely fun. Like this is the most fun set. Fun monsters, like super easy beginning where you can actually save time, and then once you get to the later bits, you deal with terrible, awful monsters like monkeys and zoos that require very specific strats, like very specific bombs. It feels so different depending on your job. Like if you're playing a tank, it's nowhere near the experience of a DPS. Healer is also very different. Fun to score because you can do massive landmines. Probably the best set. Like if I had to choose one of these four and say it's the best, I think it'd be this one. Like this, I would put this. Like my tier list is not ordered like within the same rank, but if I was ordering it within the same rank, this would be number one. Almost for sure. Okay, so 2 more left. 181 for Palace. This set it's definitely the hardest set for a regular run. For a score run, it's still very hard. In fact, it's so hard that in a score run, you're really not gonna score much there. You're gonna get the full reveals and that's it. You're gonna play normally for the rest. So this is the fact that it's so hard. It's fun. Though not gonna lie, this set feels sometimes a little unfair. This is the set with like the worms and the flood dragons. It's a little bit like 171 though, because the first like 4 or 5 floors tend to be very easy. Well, tend to be easier, and then you've got the really nasty stuff at the end. I prefer when it's like that because then I feel like you're rewarded for playing good early on. Also the boss of this set is my second favorite Deep Dungeon boss, probably Godfather. Super challenging. It doesn't matter how many times you do this boss. It's like Behemoth. Like doesn't matter how many times you do this boss. It's always challenging. I'd say it's a little too easy on tank. That's my only complaint. But this boss on a melee is probably like. In fact, on a melee, this boss is probably the best, the most fun one, even compared to 180. But this is just a great set, man. Like it's not even related to scoring. It's just it has to be extremely fun, man. It's so hard. And yes, it's bullshit sometimes, but I mean, you're not doing Deep Dungeon because it's easy, right? I think it deserves to be there. And finally, the last set, PotD 191. This set's weird. Like, so the thing that's nice about this set is it's hard, but you don't need crazy bombs to actually like manage to do it. So usually, even if you use a lot on 181, you still can get through this set. But there's one thing I find annoying about this set. It's the fact that in PotD there's no bad luck prevention with treasure rooms. So if you are dealt a 191 that has like treasure rooms with keys, you just kind of screwed. Like if you don't have resource for them, you just kind of screwed. That's the only thing I don't like about this set. Outside of that, it's a very fun set. It has room for optimization. It has a lot of room for skill expression. It's optimization. For scoring, you're gonna be doing things a little different. Like you're gonna be doing bigger AoE pulls for your rezos. That's pretty much it though. I think this, like, of course there's no boss on this set, but I don't know, like this, I have so little to say about this set, but it's just fun. Like the only thing that makes me hesitate, like I said, is the treasure room RNG. Like I think the treasure room RNG for this set is one of the few times where it feels out of your control. It makes me hesitate, man. I think I'll put it because I'll put it there even though there's this annoying part, because I think this is just, there's so much skill expression in that set. Plus it's nice that it's the last set because then you can use everything, right? Like there's no more concerns of keeping your commanders. Like you can just go all out. Yeah, I'll put it there. The monsters on this set are very strong, but it's not as bad as Heaven on High. Like Heaven on High, the last set, the issue are the monsters are so strong that if you don't have bombs, like straight up, you can't do them. In Palace, it's different. Like monsters are very strong, but there's always like little ways to do them. Like I'm gonna give you, for example, the cores, the trolls. Like, you might think you need steel for them, but you can usually do them with like a shield or like some kind of LOS jank. Well, in FFXIV, it's not the same. In FFXIV, the last set has a lot of monsters that are straight up like you're not gonna do without steel. So I think I'm happy putting it there. So this is what it looks like for Palace. So I said Palace was my favorite deep dungeon. I think it's still true. I'm looking at this, and Palace seems like most of the stuff is on the higher hand, right? FFXIV was mostly concentrated in the middle, and Eureka was a little more skewed towards the bottom. Okay, so let's just give this another one last look, and see if I still agree with everything. It's easier to compare things when they all place, right? So let's start with an easy bit. Do I think 110 is worse than all of these? Yes, like there's no... These two cannot move. Like, these two are terrible, the most awful sets. I think they are the worst thing out of any set, so I still agree with this. So let's see. Let's do like each deep dungeon separately. It's gonna make it easier for me to keep track. So, FFXIV 1120. This is a set with the guaranteed big room. Do I think it's more fun than 110? Of course. Do I think it's less fun than 110? Yeah. 3140. Yeah. Yeah. I think it deserves to be there. I think it's somewhat annoying. 2130. Do I think 2130 feels about the same as 1120 in fun levels? Yeah. I dislike them as equally. Eureka. Do I think a level 20 is better than the 110 Eureka? Of course. Do I think it's worse than 8190? Huh. I think they feel kind of bad. I think I dislike both of them almost equally. So let's see. Do I think 1120 is the same fun as 3140? You know what? I think I'm gonna bump it up one. It's a little annoying, but I'm kind of indifferent to it. I feel like, I guess the main thing is I'm comparing it to 8190 and 31. Like, it's about the same as 8190 to me, but I think it's less annoying than 3140. So 3140, more fun than 110, of course. Less fun than 1120, yes. Less fun than 8190, yes. And then Palace last. 5160. 61 and 71, like the three. I do think they are more fun than Eureka. I think they are less fun than 2130. Yeah, less fun than 2140. Yeah, less fun than 81. Yeah, I agree. So now let me check within the same tier. 1120. Like, do I think 1120 in FFXIV is as annoying as 3140 in Eureka? I kind of feel like it's less annoying. You know? I'm starting to realize that I really hate 3140. I think I'm gonna put it in very annoying. I just don't like it. Like, it's less annoying than 110 and 2130, but it's like not very much. Like, I just don't like this at all, man. So you've been bumped down. Congratulations. So then let's compare PotD. Do I think the three annoying layouts are about as fun as 2130 and 1120? Yeah. I dread them about the same. All right, so I'm happy with these two last years. So let's see. Do I think 110 is more fun than these? Yes. Do I think 110 is less fun than 4150, 5160, 9100? Yes, I agree. Do I think 110 is the same fun as 3140? Which would be the Sekibans and all that? Yeah, about the same. Maybe like a nudge less fun, but not a big difference. So let's see Eureka. Do I think Eureka 8190 is much better than 110? Yes. And do I think 1120 is much better than 110? Well, you know what? Now I'm gonna bump it back down. Just because I compared it to 3140 earlier, but now that I've reordered, I think it deserves to be there. Because I do think 8190 is more fun than 1120 by like a large margin. So, and then I do think 1120, it's about the same like fun as 51, and yeah, I'll keep it there. So let's see Palace 2130. Do I think 2130 is more fun than 51 than these three? Yes, I think they're more fun. Do I think 2130, 3140 is less fun than these floors? I think so. I think they're less fun. And 8190, do I think 8190 is less fun? That's the first volcano layout. I think so, man. This set is ruined by the dragons, the garms, and the scorpions. Like, if it weren't for these monsters, I would not even mind it that much. But these monsters just make it like less fun. So I agree with everything. Let's compare like the dungeons with starters. So I think like 3140 is about the same fun as 8190. Yeah, I think they're similar. Do I think 8190 is the same fun as 2130 Palace? 3140. Yeah. I feel like maybe 2130 might get bumped up once, but it's kind of low, so I'll keep it there for now. It's somewhat fun. What we got there? So this is the set where I start having a little fun. So then we got 4150. That's the Sekibans. Do I like the Sekibans more than 31? Of course, that's a no-brainer. And yeah, it's more fun than 110. 5160, yes. Yes, 9100 is definitely more fun than these. So let's see. 4150, this is the cavern, this is the Giga Shads, and then this is the sprites. Are they more fun than 8190? Yes. Are they less fun than 71 and 91? Yes. Yes. And I did not check even high. So 71 and 61, is it more fun than 4151? Yeah, it is. All right. So Palace. I still think 110 is weird, but I do think 110 is more fun than these three and less fun than these four. Same with 1120. 4150, I think I might have put this a little too high. The layout is annoying for this. The 2 minute respawn is nice though. No, I think it's there. The respawn saves this one for me. 91 100, yeah, it's about the same. 121 130. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with this. Let me compare with each other's now. So like, do I think the Sekiban floors are as fun as the 41 and 51 stretch? 51. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Palace. Yeah, I think so too. All right, very fun. 71 is the tigers and the landmines. Is that more fun than these three? Yes, definitely. In fact, this might get bumped up, but let's keep going. So 71 in Eureka, that's the lions and the unicorns. Is that more fun than these two? Yes. Definitely. And 91 is definitely more fun too. Yeah, I agree. I agree with this. So Palace, the first set in the last 100, is it more fun than these? Yeah, I think so. The L11 120. I always raise this set, by the way. I think it's more fun as well. 131, 140. I think it's, yeah, I think it's more fun. 161, 170. Also think it's more fun. And what if I trumper up? Do I think these are more fun than these? Yeah, I think these are all more fun. So let's trumper within the same tier. So 71, 61, yeah, I think so. 91, yeah, I agree. 61 compared to the PotD floors, yes, I agree. This is fun. This tier, the very fun tier, these are like the, if I was going to take like a tier and compare like within a tier, these would be so close. Like these are, all of these are very close with each others. Except maybe 91, 100. I honestly feel like this one is so carried by the boss. Like if it wasn't for the boss, this would be lower, but the boss just elevates it, right? Then finally, the higher tier. So nothing is as fun as these. 8119 FFXIV. It's definitely more fun than these two. 6117 Eureka. I think it's definitely more fun than these two. Is it more fun than 71? Yeah, it's more fun. It's more fun. And then Palace. 151. Yes, it is more fun. 171 is awesome. 181 is awesome in a masochist way. And then 191 is also... Makes me hesitate a little bit. Makes me hesitate a little bit. I don't know if 191 deserves to be there. Let's compare the tier within itself now. And I'll see. Do I think 81 FFXIV is as fun as 61 Eureka? I do think FFXIV is maybe a little more fun, but like not enough for a whole tier, but like maybe a little more fun. I feel like if this was ordered within the tier, Eureka would be behind there, but it's not so. So like Eureka compared to these, this is the one that's like, I do think they're pretty close. It's maybe like a nudge lower, but it's definitely higher than all of these. So it still deserves to be there. 151 PotD, yes, as fun as these. 171, yes. 181, yes. 191, I don't know, man. I don't know if I really want to put it there. Yeah, I think so. I think so. The treasure room thing is making me hesitate, but I still think it's really fun. Like I don't dread going into 191. Okay, so I think I'm happy with how I ordered everything. So if we look at it again, Eureka is definitely like too many bad apples in Eureka, man. Like these four are way too bad. And also, I think the other thing that's kind of dragging Eureka down is that the best set is like the 6170. You know, like the endgame sets are not very they're not in the extremely fun category. So FFXIV is definitely like concentrated in the middle. I think the biggest shame is that the 91-100 is kind of low. I wish it was more fun, but it's not. It's not. So that's life. And Palace is definitely more like focused on the top. I think also the other thing that Palace does really well is the entire hand game is fun, right? Like a lot of the lower floors are on the lower bit, and then a lot of the higher floors are on the higher bit. So it feels more like a gradual increase of fun, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm happy with this. So this was my tier list, ordered by fun for all three deep dungeon, compared with each other's as well, right? So yeah, I said at the beginning, and I said in many streams that I think I have the most fun in PotD. Looking at this, I agree. Then usually I'll say that FFXIV and Eureka are close. But now looking at this, I think I have the least fun in Eureka. Eureka has good parts, but too many bad parts. And I do feel it because, like, usually Eureka, it's a real chore getting to 40. And then once I get to 40, I'm like, it's about the same as Heaven on High, but like getting to 40 is a chore. Meanwhile, Heaven on High, I don't look forward to getting to 40 that much, but like I don't mind it too much because it's easy enough where I can do it while I'm watching a stream or something, right? So anyway, hope this was recommended by someone on my stream yesterday. Thank you, whoever recommended. I don't remember your name, but it was a great idea. I love making tier lists about random things. So this is subjective, of course. I mean, this is fun, so of course it's subjective. In the description, I will put a link to the tier maker if you want to make your own. I think it's fun, especially if you're a streamer yourself. I think this is a very fun tier list to make on stream as well. I just made it off stream because I prefer making these off stream, but it would be a very fun thing on stream if you want to give it a go. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts too in the comments about you don't have to tell me all 40 sets, but maybe like drop your favorite set and your least favorite set and why you think that way. I'd be very interested to hear. Also very interested to hear if you are coming from a scoring mindset or just trying to clear a mindset. So anyway, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.